Hi, welcome to Movement Remedies. So glad you're here. My name is DK Ciccone, and I'm the owner operator of this pain focused Pilates studio in the North End of Boston. The studio is really personal and important to me. It was born out of my own passion for helping people with chronic pain, having been a chronic pain sufferer myself since I was 13 years old. I wanted to address two major problems that I saw in the health and wellness space in general. First of all, there's this issue that folks who have persistent pain, maybe after an injury or surgery, or maybe just out of nowhere, when it keeps coming back and it's not an acute episode, they don't really have a clear pathway in our health system for how to get active again, how to feel good in their body. Folks who are well informed or have gone through maybe the surgery route or have a really good general practitioner who is helping them may end up going through the physical therapy route, which is fantastic, but often has sort of a finite amount of time or visits that are available. The many ways people come to us is through the discharge process from physical therapy, where they're looking to maybe really get to that end of range of motion for that knee replacement, or they're just looking to move beyond just being able to do basic day-to-day things, but also move into strength building and getting back to skiing and hiking and doing the things that were fun and important and meaningful in that person's body before they went through the traumatic experience that led to the pain. For folks who didn't come through physical therapy or haven't really figured out where to go to get help with their pain, there's often no entry point or obvious stop for them or a resource for them to be able to feel good and have a path forward to feel good and confident in their bodies. And there's often a lot of fear associated with getting active again, and the fear itself can be a promoter of pain. And so there was no place for all those things to come together with movement at the core, to really be oriented around the chronic pain community. That may feel very niche, at least in the US, 20% of US adults, according to the CDC, have chronic pain, and other estimates globally are closer to 30% and are often believed to be underreported. So, look around you, and there's probably somebody who is going through persistent pain and may not even realize that there is a place or a pathway for them to start to feel better in their bodies. They've probably written off movement entirely because when they move, it hurts, and so they figure what they're supposed to do is not move. But what we know from the research is actually movement is beneficial for pain, if for no other reason than because of the positive chemicals that are associated that are, mood boosting and often lead to a pain reduction. But also the fact that if you don't, maintain a functional repertoire into your later years, you'll start to lose things. Getting on the toilet and off again will become really difficult. And then you're talking about maybe I'm not going to be able to maintain my independence for as long as I was. The first problem area is the fact that folks are in pain, but they need to be active. They're not sure how. It's not clear where to go. You can't just walk into a regular gym and be in a lot of pain and have a complex condition. Folks don't really know. They're not educated on how to handle that. So I wanted a space that was specifically, explicitly oriented around that population, where I and anyone who works for me is deeply trained in anatomy and functional movement and understands chronic conditions and knows how to build a movement program that will get that person feeling incrementally more confident, stronger, more capable in their bodies. And that is really the Movement Remedies promise for folks who are in pain. The second problem I was seeing in the fitness industry in particular is discrimination against folks who are in larger bodies. And the fact that even outside of fitness, but in the clinical area, when folks were going to their doctor saying, I have chronic pain, they're often told, you need to lose weight. Or maybe they just assume because they're in a larger body and they're having joint pain, the main contributor is their weight. I have yet to see any research that supports the idea that weight loss leads to a reduction in pain. In fact, there's lots of research that shows that force on the joints builds cartilage, causes adaptation in the body that actually makes us more resilient to osteoarthritis rather than progressing it. For example, lots of research around running and the fact that that is actually not a contributor to the progression of knee osteoarthritis. So as far as I'm concerned, if the force on the joints is not bad for running, why would it be force on the joints due to weight necessarily be causing or contributing to your chronic pain. I believe that's probably a controversial hypothesis, but what I have seen in my own experience working with people is that folks in larger bodies feel um, that they're not allowed to walk into movement spaces, that movement isn't for them, and that instead of being helped by the clinical world to get active, if the bottom line is get active, they're just kind of given a helping of blame on top of the pain, saying, well, it's your problem and it's your fault, and all you can really do is lose. It's really silly because we know that intentional weight loss is not sustainable or effective, and in fact leads to other mental health, issues. So there really isn't any situation apart from maybe, super extreme situations where a recommendation of intentional weight loss is actually beneficial for anybody. I come back to the main core issue at heart here, which is people need to be moving. People need to be maintaining, if not expanding, the functional repertoire in their body in order to have fulfilling long lives where they can do the things that they want to do that make them feel whole, not just, do a fancy handstand push up or burpees or, it's not about that. It's about, can I get down on the floor and play with my grandkids? Can I go on that hiking vacation to Cinque Terre that I've been dreaming of? Can I go back to skiing like I loved? Can I do the things that fill my heart? And that's what this is about. This is about getting back to movement that fills your heart. So from my perspective, if we're talking about movement as the goal, whether or not a person is of a certain any kind of size is beside the point. And I was really just getting disgusted with the fitness industry, especially going through my own experience of overcoming weight cycling and disordered eating for decades, having been a dancer as a young person, which translated into all kinds of body dysmorphia and other issues that I had to overcome as an older woman. You know, I was kind of looking around at the fitness world and the Pilates world in particular and saying, where are folks supposed to go? Like, where would they feel welcome walking in the door? And a lot of what we project as is fitness and boutique studios is a certain aesthetic that's a super narrow version of a human body and does not make people can't see themselves in it. And so this is, in addition to being a chronic pain space, which was like really the kind of first pillar of what I was trying to do here at Movement Remedies, it's also a weight neutral anti-diet space. So I do not discuss weight loss with my clients. I don't allow for, negative self-talk in a group setting. I don't want to encourage that sort of, you know, groupthink that happens when people get together and start, criticizing their own bodies. I really try to stop that in its tracks. And folks learn when they come in here that if they're going to say, oh, I have to work extra hard today because I had whatever at lunch, that they're going to get a bit of a lecture from me because not only is that destructive to the folks around you who may be going through eating disorder recovery or, their own challenges, but that doesn't encourage a sense of safety in your body. And if what we want is to get moving, how does that really, it's about breaking that cycle, breaking down that cycle of self-criticism and only focusing on what is possible in your body. Because for most people who walk through these doors, and most people I work with who have been in pain, whether I work with them also virtually, may not even be physically in the studio, they almost always underestimate the capabilities of their own body. And then the research that's just very consistent that folks who are in pain often they don't believe or aren't aware of what they're actually capable of. A lot of the work that I do in the beginning is creating situations in which I am helping people, explore or experiment and test against the hypotheses they have around their own body. They tell me I have terrible balance. Okay, let's do something that's a balance challenge. And, incrementally increase that and then start to call out, hey, look what you just did. You just did a really difficult balance thing and that's amazing. And like helping people understand, wow, okay, so I have this projection in my head that has been, very much nurtured by destructive societal norms and myths about what a body should look like. I have this projection of my body in a very negative light, that it's weak, that doesn't support me, that it's not capable. And maybe the reality is that I'm actually a strong, capable, amazing human being capable of progress because all bodies are capable of some kind of progress. when we challenge it. And that's just one of the amazing things about having a human. So I find that these two parts of my mission, they work very much hand in hand, and there is really a community to whom this speaks. Folks who are looking for a pathway back to nurturing supportive movement, whether or not there's pain. 99% of the time there is pain of some kind. And we work together to build something out that helps bring them joy. And not because Pilates is magical and it's the ultimate end goal is that I want you to do Pilates for the rest of your life. I mean, some people may decide they love Pilates and they want to stick around and do Pilates, but really, I see Pilates as a pathway to getting reacquainted with your body, understanding and uncovering your own strength, increasing your sense of confidence in your own footing, and building, up against resistance and your body weight, and then challenging all the different parts of your body so that you can maybe go on and do other things. So the work that I do here, I really wanted to be able to extend it beyond this studio, and so I put together. My experience, my own personal journey, and also my clients' experiences in this book, You're Meant to Move, a guide to conquering chronic pain, increasing stress resilience, and reclaiming an active life. And it's written as a 14-week program where you would do exercises, usually journaling exercises, and also reflection exercises and some movement exercises. It goes through the stuff that I talked about in terms of, uncovering your pain perception and what's the reality of your capabilities, figuring out how to reclaim your body mind connection, setting goals that are based on your own personal needs and not the world's expectations for you, how to unlearn the pain fear response. So that I draw tremendously from the pain reprocessing therapy training I went through with the Pain Psychology Center to increase exposure to things that scare us and that we believe cause us pain, to sort of break that conditioned response and realize that in fact the pain is not something that's resulting from, whatever it is, sitting, walking on stairs. We have to explore various things that often are triggering a pain response. And then how to build a movement practice, how to build a personal movement practice that is based on your own inherent goals and where you want your life to be 5-10 years from now. Movement Remedies story. I hope you've enjoyed learning about what we do here and how we serve the community. I do provide coaching services virtually and in person for people who are going through that program and want a little help on how to build that movement practice, how to design movement experiences that help to break that pain fear connection, and also offer private and group movement sessions using the Pilates method. So that's the story. And just remember, your body is amazing and it's deserving of joyful movement. And I just hope that you have all of your heart's desires fulfilled in your physical existence on this earth.